For business, cybercrime is the crime of the new century, and some of the nation's top security experts are meeting today at Bloomberg's Enterprise Risk Conference. It's here in New York, and the man that everybody wants to hear from is Michael McConnell. He's now with Booz Allen Hamilton, and he's formerly the U.S. Director of National Intelligence. We're talking about cyber attacks. How big of a threat is that, specifically to Wall Street?
It's a significant threat, and it's increasing on a regular basis. Currently what's happening is denial of service attacks. What that means is someone takes a computer, infects many computers, and you try to fill up the channel. That's more of an annoyance. What we're concerned about is when it goes beyond denial of service, it starts to be destruction of data, contamination of data. If that happened in the banking sector, it could have catastrophic impact.
How much are they doing to combat this, to defend themselves?
Mostly we're debating whether the threat's serious or not. Inside government, there's a debate about roles and authorities, and in the private sector, while some have embraced it, they understand it, it is more denial than anything else. So I would say on a scale of 1 to 10 on the government side and the industry side, we're at about a 3 of where we need to be at 9 or 10.
Wow. Private industry has been cutting costs like there's no tomorrow as revenue growth has been slowing. Have they cut costs too much on this front as well, their security?
I would say broadly that's a true statement. And let me put in perspective. Once there's a cyber breach where someone's information has been accessed and exposed, the cost to clean that up is measured in millions, 5 million, 6 million, 10 million.
They don't have to disclose that cost, do they?
They do not, and that's one of the issues. Now, Congress recently worked with the SEC to put a rule in place that was guidance. So if there's a breach, there's a requirement to report it. But it has not yet matured the way other reporting requirements have matured. And there's a debate. The industry is concerned about overregulation from the government, as you would expect. And the government is still wrestling with getting its act together about who has authority to provide information or interface with the private sector.
What sort of cyber attacks are we seeing to these financial companies? I mean, we hear a lot about hacking into government websites, even the International Monetary Fund. What's happening on Wall Street?
Let me divide it into sort of the major piece parts. First of all, it's cyber espionage. Think of it as just capturing information for competitive advantage. So I would say 95% of what goes on today, it's a nation state reaching into a U.S. company to extract a business plan, research and development, some significant investment in innovation for a business plan. They want to take that for free for competitive advantage. That's sort of the major problem. What we're seeing with the banks right now is denial of service attacks against the bank. Fill up their channel because we believe the Iranians are responsible for this, and from their standpoint they are retaliating for the sanctions. Now what we're concerned about is not so much the espionage concern, but we deal with that, or denial of service and annoyance. What happens when it turns to destruction of data? That happened most recently in Saudi Aramco in Saudi Arabia. Not only did they engage in a denial of service attack, they actually destroyed all the data on somewhere between 30 and 50,000 computers.
Should bank customers be worried? It sounds like a lot of what you're describing are threats to the corporations and the business strategy. What about if I have a bank account?
If the attack on the bank is successful in degrading or destroying data, contaminating the information, the clearinghouse, that sort of thing, then customers would be affected. No one has yet been successful in actually contaminating that data, but there are capabilities that have been established and built. There are nation states with those capabilities. It could happen. So the concern is what happens when some of those tools, malware, leaks or is sold on the black market or is used in a destructive way.
All right, very interesting. A threat to watch, certainly a story to continue to follow. Mike McConnell, thanks for stopping by here. He is the former director of U.S. National Intelligence.